All right, we got a nice little crowd here for braving out the snow. Congratulations. Stand up, wiggle your arms, warm yourself up a little bit, and let's sing a new, I think we have done this one. I send my love over the ocean. I send my love over the sea. I send my love into the heavens, and it returns to me. I send my love over the mountains. I send my love over the sea. I send my love into the heavens, and it returns to me. Send your joy. I send my joy over the mountains. I send my joy over the sea. I send my joy into the heavens, and it returns to me. Do joy again. I send my joy over the mountains. I send my joy over the sea. I send my joy into the heavens, and it returns to me. Peace. I send my peace over the mountains. I send my peace over the sea. I send my peace into the heavens, and peace returns to me. I send my peace over the mountains. I send my peace over the sea. I send my peace into the heavens, and peace returns to me. One more time with love. I send my love over the mountains. I send my love over the sea. I send my love into the heavens, and love returns to me. I send my love over the mountains. I send my love over the sea. I send my love into the heavens, and love returns to me. And love returns to me. And love returns to me.
Thank you, Mark. And everyone, welcome to Unity of Syracuse. We're so glad that we all ventured out this morning and safely, and a really home warm welcome to all of those there in Love Stream land as you take that opportunity now to be with us today. So I am Leland Jackson, and I will be your platform assistant. And for today's Daily Word, I'm going to ask Tavian to come up and read. There you go. Oh, yes.
The word for today is enrichment. Sunday, January 20th, 2019. The affirmation is, divine love blesses all that I think, say, and do. The reading states, in the Hebrew scriptures, Jacob dreamed of angels, divine thought messengers, ascending and descending a ramp connecting heaven, the divine realm, and earth, human awareness. In his dream, God promised Jacob that the families of the earth would be blessed through him and his descendants. Upon awakening, Jacob exclaimed, "Surely the Lord is in this place, and I did not know it." When I experience a spiritual awakening, I discover that the divine presence, the indwelling Christ, is within me, even when I do not recognize it. I open my mind and heart to the Christ presence, and my life is enriched in every way possible. Divine love blesses all that I think, say, and do. From Genesis chapter 1, chapter 28, verse 16, it states, "Then Jacob woke from his sleep and said, 'Surely the Lord is in this place, and I did not know it.'"
Thank you, Tavian. Yes, the Lord is in this place and is in any place where you are. You just need to open your consciousness and be present. So normally we have the children go to YFM. Are we just keeping all together here today, I think? Yes. Yep. So we will be warm in this place. Let us now stand and we'll say our statement of being. It is on the screen. God is all, both visible and invisible. One presence, one mind, one power is all. This one that is all is perfect life, perfect love, and perfect substance. I am an individualized expression of God. I am ever one with this perfect life, perfect love, and perfect substance. Take this time now to greet your neighbors and friends and those in Love Streaming Land. Get a cup of coffee, love your pet, do something of that nature.
Get those warm hugs. Find the person who's warm. All right, this song's really simple. The only thing you really need to know is, then you will know what dreams are made of. That's it. Then you will know what dreams are made of. And I think you'll get the rest of it. So it goes like this. Open your heart to love. Open your heart to love. Then you will know what dreams are made of. Open your heart to love. Let's do that. Open your heart to love. Open your heart to love. Then you will know what dreams are made of. Open your heart to love. Open your heart to love. Open your heart to love. Then you will know what dreams are made of. Open your heart to love again. Open your heart to love. Open your heart to love. Then you will know what dreams are made of. Open your heart to love. Let's do it one more time. Open your heart to love. Open your heart to love. Then you will know what dreams are made of. Open your heart to love. Open your heart to love. Open your heart to love. If you haven't figured out by now, today's about love. Don't make me do another song about love. But I'm gonna.
So I do have a few announcements for the day. This is a special farewell Sunday for Reverend Edith, and we had a wonderful time last night, those that made it out for a potluck, and just a great time, and thank you to Tommy for the music and the dancing and all that went on. So this is a blessed day. So also, if you have not picked up your 2019 calendar, they are in the back, so please do so. Great pieces, memories and contents of all the stuff that's there. So it's a nice little simple calendar for you to let you know what's going on. And you make your notes in it for what happens. Next Sunday is the MLK celebration. So please see Sally if you want to be part of the choir for that. There's 2 rehearsals apparently going on for it this year. It's a big event. And also then the following week is the World Interfaith Harmony Assembly. So those interested at all, please see Sally about how to get and go and where and what you're singing. And I think that's really most of what we have on announcements right now. So, yes, Ray. Oh, yes, thank you. That's right. So your 2018 donation letters, they're ready. Those of you here today, please pick them up so we don't have to mail them. They'll be available downstairs afterwards. And yes, there is a town hall next Sunday, so please come and be present. So thank you for those additional things. All right, normally we welcome guests at this time, but I don't see any guests or anybody that hasn't been here. So welcome to anybody who's coming in the future, and we will see them at that point. So let's move on to our prayer portion, 5 basic principles. So is there a couple of you who might want to share how these have shown up in your life this past week? Dana has a mic ready to hand to you. Anyone want to share? Ken will. He's back over there.
Good morning. So I guess God is the source and creator of all. God is good and present everywhere. This past Friday, I was in the office here working just a little late into the evening, preparing some of the constant contact and stuff that went out. And as I was working and as I was thinking about all the changes in my life, a bat flew in and started circling over my head. But it was the timing of the bat. And the Native Americans say that a bat is a symbol or a metaphor for change. And there's so much change going on right now in my life and in our congregation. And, that bat, I talked to him for a while, and I said, you're not going to find any bugs in here, I don't know where you're supposed to be, but it's not here. And I actually, maybe it's a little odd, but it was just me and the bat, so we had a little conversation. But, really, I had a lot of love for the bat. And I recognized that it was an emanation of God. It was there for me in that moment. For we may not want it in the church, but it was there for me in that moment. And if I can see God in a bat, then I think maybe unity is helping me to move forward on the right path. Thanks.
I guess it'd be affirmative for the power of affirmative prayer, and that what I've put myself through over the last 10 years, through all that, the affirmative prayer is one of the things that I really concentrated on, and now it's all starting to come together, so it's really working.
Yay. All right, so now is there blessing of our prayers, our prayer requests. So Dana, if you'll bring the box forward and the microphone. Thank you. So Unity was founded on prayer, and just know that it is such an important piece for here in our service, that every Sunday we have a silent time from 10:30 to 10:45. So you have that meditative piece. We have prayer chaplains then available to pray with you from 10:45 to 10:55, and then also available after the service to pray with you. So take the advantage of that. Even for the blessings, the good ones, it's not the time of necessarily need, but express those prayers of gratitude. And then know that at Silent Unity, they're available for you at any time to call. They've been praying for almost 130 years nonstop. Amazing, amazing set of consciousness there. You place your prayer intentions in our box. They are held here in confidence for the next 30 days, and then they're forwarded on to Silent Unity, where they're held for another 30 days in confidence. Father, Mother, Spirit, God, here before us, we come together to be in this place and know that all is well. And before us, we have intentions, requests, open hearts. And it is in the simple asking, the opening of the heart, that there is the answer. It is in its divine time and its order, but the answer is present. We feel it, we know it, and all are blessed in this. Thank you, Spirit. Thank you, God. For it is truly so. Amen.
And now is our meditative part of this service. Some of you may have already joined me in closing your eyes. If you have not done so, I invite you to at this moment. And those of you who are not comfortable closing your eyes, I simply invite you to focus on one spot in the room. Perhaps it's this Christ light. Perhaps it is right in front of your screen on your phone or your tablet or device. But simply focusing on one spot, because we affirm absolutely that there is no spot where God is not. And then we simply relax. Relaxing into the seat where we're sitting. Relaxing, relaxing, and relaxing even more. And in this moment, I invite you to think about someone in your family, perhaps a grandparent, grandmother, grandfather, or someone who was very close to you when you were growing up. And think about the memories you may have as you draw up that name or names, and the legacy of love that they have instilled in you. Allowing that person to, the love of them, the love that they had for you, and the love that you have for them, and the love that they radiated out from their body to fill your body right now. And allow that love to resonate in your heart space. Perhaps even taking a gentle breath into the heart. Allowing that love to permeate your very being. Love, the legacy of love. And as we sit with this feeling and experience, we understand that it doesn't stay right in our body, that it is radiating out from within, creating this high vibration of love in this sanctuary, our inner sanctuary to the outer. And we allow it to flow in and out and through us as we take a pause to consciously connect with the source of our being. The being is God, for God is love. That infinite love, divine love, we rest in that assurance as we sit together as one. We feel love now. And in the silence, we may say to ourselves, I am feeling love. I am feeling love. In the silence, we go deeper together. I am. I am. I am feeling love. I am feeling love. And in this expanded state of awareness, we bring into this space all of the prayer intentions which have been placed in our prayer box. We bring into this space all the loved ones that we thought about during this meditation. And we also know that ourselves are in this space. For this is a space that we have created. And we are so grateful that we are here. In this moment, we are one. And so it is. And so we let it be us. Amen and amen.
It's all about love. It's all about love. Just open your heart. Love fills you up. It's all about love. That's your part. Sing it with me. It's all about love. It's all about love. Just open your heart. Love fills you up. It's all about love. Life, it's not about heartache or hunger or need. It's not about the sacrifice that leads us to bleed. There's something more important that we're born to know. 'Cause whatever you do, wherever you go, here's our part. It's all about love. It's all about love. Just open your heart. Love fills you up. It's all about love. Do that again. It's all about love. It's all about love. Just open your heart. Love fills you up. It's all about love. Love is the miracle of a newborn child. Love is that someone that makes your heart go wild. But whatever you feel it's all the same thing. It's the feeling within you that makes you want to sing. It's all about love. It's all about love. Just open your heart. Love fills you up. It's all about love. So when the world is flowing and you're in pain, when you don't remember the sky without rain or snow, your build and help is on the way, bringing a perfect world and a brighter new day. It's all about love. It's all about love. Just open your heart. Love fills you up. It's all about love. It's all about love. It's all about love. Just open your heart and love fills you up. It's all about love. It's all about love. It's all about love. Love.
Good morning. It is all about love. Thank you so much, Mark. I'm a Kosovo Washington Woods, and I'm sharing this space this morning with Reverend Edith. The power of the month is faith, and the daily word said that divine love blesses all that I think, say, and do. So it is appropriate to bring faith and love into my story this morning. My story includes women of faith, women of fortitude, women who left me a legacy of love. Their stories are inspirational, so be inspired and keep the faith, my friends. There are 3 women I'll speak about. There are many more that I could. Women like my mother and my sister, who I could mention as well. All powerful women, but in the interest of time, I'll only talk about 3. These are women who left a legacy of love for me to follow. Strong women who found strength and perseverance to survive in the segregated South. Some of their stories became my stories, and I'm going to share just a little bit with you. These women lived long, long lives of purpose and of love. My maternal grandmother, Anna Priscilla Floyd, we called her Mud Deer, and she lived to be 103 years old. My paternal grandmother, Ms. Flora Woods, we called her Granny Woods, and she lived to be 104 years old. And lastly, my aunt, Mom Worth. I don't know how old she was when she transitioned, but she had to be well into her 90s. Granny Woods was a tiny chocolate brown woman, barely 4.5 feet tall, with dark, long, straight hair with a sprinkling of gray. She had 8 children who survived infancy, and one of them was my father. He was one of her younger children. Her children spanned 35 years. This grandmother lived with her daughter, Aunt Babe, and her husband and their 8 children. They all lived in Granny Woods' small house in Haw River, North Carolina. Granny Woods slept in a chair in the living room. I never saw her laying down in a bed. She had her chair and her quilts and always sat there wrapped up in them. She had a table next to the chair with where all of her important stuff would sit. She also had a large cloth bag next to that chair as well. As a child, I was fascinated by that bag. Anything you needed would come out of there. It was kind of like magic. Kind of like the loaves and fishes stories. The stuff would just keep coming out of that bag. She would go to church each Sunday and to wrestling each Wednesday night. She drank RC Cola every single day. Remember, I said that she was 104 when she transitioned. I think there was something restorative in that RC Cola. When she transitioned, she hadn't been sick or anything. They just said that she sat down in her chair and went to sleep because she figured she'd done everything that she needed to do. Seems like a nice way to go to me. Mom Worth was one of my father's older sisters. She was a cook. She cooked in the white high school. Remember, this was the segregated South. She would cook in the kitchen at the white school, and then my uncle would pull up in his truck at the back of the school building, and she would hand him out food for this colored school uptown. She knew the food was better quality at the white school, so she staged her own protests by supplementing from there so that none of the African American children would suffer. She would have my uncle bring down to the kitchen whatever was brought to the colored school that morning, and she'd mix it in with whatever was brought to the white school. So both schools got pretty much the same thing for lunch, and there was no separation between them. Mom Worth was known for her bread and her rolls. After she finished baking, my uncle and his truck again would pull up, particularly on a Friday night after school, and out would come trays and trays and trays of bread and rolls. She would sell them from her front porch on Sunday morning. As a kid, I would sit on her porch and hand out the bread and rolls when people drove up to buy them. I always thought this was great. My cousins, not so much. The cars would come up the driveway and we would hand the bread and rolls into the car windows, and they would hand us the money and then drive on through because the driveway circled her house. This would go on for a couple of hours, and we'd be done again until next week. I have no idea how much money she'd made doing this, but I know that her rolls were known all over the county, and people came from near and far to get them. Another legacy of love. I'm pretty sure that my love for feeding people was born there in North Carolina each summer. The last amazing woman that I'll talk about is my maternal grandmother, Anna Priscilla Floyd, my dear. She was college educated and was the assistant dean of women at Fisk University in Nashville, Tennessee for 49 years. She also worked as a registrar at Oberlin College in Ohio before coming back to Nashville and Fisk. My family on my mother's side were all college-educated women, something unheard of in white families, let alone African American. But my great-grandmother went to Teachers Bible College. Muddeer went to Xavier University and graduate school. My mother graduated from Talladega College and later got her master's degree from the University of Massachusetts. My sister has 2 master's degrees, and I went to Syracuse University. So, 4 generations of college-educated women. I come from a long line of women who fought struggles that I can only imagine. Muddeer lived to be 103. She transitioned in 2013. She was the most proper of all of my grandmothers. She would sit up straight and always call me darling. Muddeer always wore matching clothing, hats, dresses, or suits, and her shoes. Shoes were something that she had in common with Reverend Edith. They always had their own boxes and were in one particular closet in her house, all neatly stacked and labeled. Same with her hats. And they also had a closet of their own. Reverend Edith loves hats too. She just doesn't wear them except there's usually a hat for Easter. A whole ritual with her when it starts getting close. I have to look at hats in catalogs and online every year. Anyway, I'm not much into hats, but I work hard most of the time to match my clothing. It's an inherited kind of thing. Trying to teach Tavion the same thing, but he's quite resistant to that. So, what do these 3 strong women have to do with a legacy of love? They have left me with a strong sense of power, a strong sense of where I fit into the world, a strong sense of what it is mine to do. Granny Woods raised her children in a deeply segregated South, but managed to do this with dignity and worth. She was known throughout Alamance County as someone who could sway the vote. So I got my legacy for going to vote at each and every election from her. From Mom Worth, I got a sense of justice, a sense that I can right some of the wrongs in the world. I can stand tall and make a difference. By her small act of defiance, making sure that African American children got the same food as the white children, I saw that she was able to do something she believed in and that it didn't need to be a huge production. But justice happened regardless. I saw that protests didn't need to be loud. I also saw that she was an entrepreneur who took pride in producing some of the best roles in the county. Someone who left a legacy of love. Someone who stood in her power. And then Muddeer. As an educated African-American woman, she was able to succeed in spaces that most of society would tell you that she didn't belong, that she wasn't good enough, and yet she excelled. She and her mother, and then my mother and me, we all took something from our lives, and that was the drive to be the best that we could. One of the things that I am most proud of is that that in 2008, 4 generations of women and 1 small boy went to a polling booth in Nashville, Tennessee, and in Syracuse, New York, and pulled a lever for the first African-American president of this country. 4 generations of women and 1 small boy voted that day. Still brings tears to me when I think about it. The drive to stand tall and proud in a society that didn't and many times still doesn't celebrate African-American womanhood, but yet, here I am. I have the blood of warriors, of Amazon women, of women who left me with a legacy that I strive daily to hold on to. I share my talents and my gifts because of these women. Because they succeeded, I too will succeed. I pass along to others the strength and the dignity that was shown to me through these women. That legacy of love is shown in every moment that I try to remember that I am not my anger, I am peace. I am not my smallest shortcomings, but I am an achiever. I am not my fear, but I am triumphant. I am fierce and powerful, and I am a legacy of love. So, my friends, find your legacy of love. And as always, as I always end every prayer, I stand in love. Thank you for listening this morning, and namaste.
Wasn't she wonderful? My wonderful spouse, a Coastal Washington Woods. She don't want to hear that she has a call to ministry. Don't even say it. I'm Reverend Edith Washington Woods, and I am your senior minister for this day and this past 6 years. A legacy of love. Perhaps in the meditation you brought up someone like a grandparent that was in your life. And I think about, for myself, my grandparents. You see, after my parents divorced, my mom worked in Chicago at Eastman Kodak Company, and she worked there for 25 years, I believe. But she had to travel from Gary, Indiana to Chicago every day to go to work. So she was always gone before we got up in the morning, and she wasn't there when we came home from school. But we spent a lot of time at my grandparents' house. Now, my grandparents on my mom's side, we didn't call them grandma, grandpa like most folks would do. We had to call them mama and daddy. Because I really think that my grandmother didn't want to be called grandma at that time because she was a little too young. I don't know, that's what I made up in my mind. And so we called them mama and daddy. Well, incidentally, we didn't call my mother mama. We called her by her nickname, Mickey. My mom's name is Arla. I don't know where Mickey came from. I have no idea, but we called her Mickey like everyone else did. And my grandparents were interesting. My grandfather, he had an insurance company. And so he was an insurance agent and then had his own company. So most of my childhood years, his business was in his office at home. And he would teach us, we learned how to do taxes, and we had to fill out all of the cards at Christmas time to send calendars and cards to people. He put the children to work, you know. We didn't get paid for it or anything, other than getting a dime to go get something off of when the ice cream place came by. You could spend a dime and get some ice cream or something like that. My grandmother, however, she was an interesting lady. The thing that I remember about her mostly is how she would make a cake every now and then, and it wouldn't have any icing on it. This was a box cake, by the way. And it wouldn't have icing on it, and she'd leave it in the pan, and then we get a spoon and we eat it. And it was just the funnest thing. I don't know why. Or the time when I decided I wanted to have an afro. But see, here's the story behind it. I started getting perms in my hair, to straighten out what was very curly, at about 5 or 6. Because my mom's sister, Bonnie, she was a hairdresser. So I had my hair straightened, and this was probably, I don't know, maybe around 1972, I think. So I would have been 12. And I says to my grandmother, Mama, I want to have an afro like everyone else. She says, I can give you an afro, honey. How you do that? She said, I'm going to cut your hair. So here I had long hair. She cut my hair to this much because that was the only part that could have an afro. The rest of it was straight. My mother came home from work and went, "Ah, what did you do to my baby?" Because remember, Mama didn't get home until later on in the evening. My mother was so upset, but my grandmother said, I was just giving her love. She asked me to cut her hair, and she wanted an afro, and so I gave it to her. So I had a teeny-weeny afro for quite a while, all the way through high school. And I was quite proud of it. My mother's, I need to ask her about that. Now, Mama, do you remember when she cut my hair? Now I have to tell you, my grandmother, she was not college educated. I guess she graduated from high school. I really don't know. I know my grandfather did. He graduated from DuSable High School in Chicago. But my grandmother worked at the United States Post Office until she retired. So she started somewhere in my childhood in the 60s. And my grandmother used to, well, we wanted to ride in a post office truck, and she'd come and get us, and one at a time. And then there wasn't a seat on the passenger side. It was just empty. It wasn't the kind of trucks they have now. She had like a car or something. And we could get in the car, and we had to get down really, really low, like really, really low. And don't, so that her manager or supervisor wouldn't see us in there. And it was the funnest ride, you know. I'm going to work with Grandma, and she'd get out of that truck, and she would go and deliver her mail, and we'd still be there when she got back. And I don't know how many times that happened, but it was just the most amazing bond to take your little grandkid with you. I don't know how old I was, 5, 6, 7, I don't know. But I would stay there until she came back. Hi, Grandma. From my little place in her postal car. My grandmother wore the blues, you know, that they wear, the post office blues. And she would come home from work, and it didn't matter if it was 95 degrees outside. She wore one of those hats. Somebody probably has on one now. It's not a skull cap, but it's the kind that keeps you warm, and it flips up, and it has like a lip all around. I don't know what you call the thing, but my grandma wore those even when it was really hot outside. And she would come in, take her hat off, and she said, "Baby, come on to comb my hair." And I would comb her hair. And her hair was long and straight, probably the Native American heritage that she had in her body, in her legacy, or, you know, lineage. And I would comb it and brush it, and comb it and brush it, and she would fall asleep right there. And she had all of us do that. I don't know if it was a grandkid or a great-grandkid or a great-great-grandkid that didn't get a chance to comb Mama's hair. You know, it was such a wonderful experience. So we're talking about a legacy of love, leaving a legacy of love. And I don't know if when I was taking you through that meditative experience, if you thought about some of those things that happened to you as a young person. But leaving a legacy of love is the memories that we take with us when there's something new or a shift or a new beginning. You see, my grandmother, she was 76 when she transitioned on December 14th, 1998. And Christmas was different that year. It was way different that year. But I believe at the same time we had a cousin that was born. And it seemed to happen like that. My grandma's birthday was October 7th. And on my grandma's birthday, my aunt's daughter was born. And so we would have things like that happen. You know, I, in turn, will have a birthday on the 28th, and I have a granddaughter who was born on my birthday. I don't know why we had these weird things happen in our family, but they happen over and over and over again. I could bring up countless other children that were born that happened to be born on a day that was one of my families. But we are talking about what happens when we have the opportunities to experience love. Now, our Martin Luther King holiday is on tomorrow, and his actual birthday was on the 15th. And he said this: "We have before us the glorious opportunity to inject a new dimension of love in the veins of our civilization." I believe that's what happens here at Unity of Syracuse, that each of us have the opportunity to demonstrate the love that we have for each other that radiates out from us into the world. Why not? And it actually starts when we're willing to listen. So Paul Tillich said the first duty of love is to listen. You know, when we listen, not only listening to what we hear someone say, but listening to the still small voice within us. You see, that, I must say, is why this completion is happening for me on this day. I've spent a lot of time in prayer and meditation. What is mine to do? And I kept hearing this strong, intuitive voice within me that said, it's time. And I cried that day. And I've cried many days since. Because the love that is here is real. This legacy of love that we're talking about today is the legacy of love that we have built in this complete 6 years that I've been here. But that legacy of love was here before I ever walked in the door. It was here when I walked into this sanctuary for the first time on November 30th, 2012. And I walked in and I looked around, there were no bats. And I just was in awe of the love that I experienced with no one here because of the love that has been here. That love is the love that we talk about. God is love and love is God. And oh gosh, okay, there we go. So in 1 John chapter 4 and 16, it says, "So we have come to know and believe the love that God has for us. God is love. And those who abide in love abide in God, and God abides in them." So we're talking about the legacy of love, the love that has stood the test of all times, the love that has come with new beginnings and endings, like the endings of our loved ones that we talked about that have passed on to another experience. But that love is backed by faith. The faith that Akosua talked about is our spiritual power of the month. The faith that creates substance. And our co-founder, Charles Fillmore, says that faith is a power of the spiritual mind. But in all the realms of existence, we find faith. You see, faith is always here. Faith is here now. It is the faith that is in the seen and the unseen. That even though we are all embarking on a new beginning, we stand in the power of faith. That faith is always seeing us through to that thing that is ready to be birthed. It's about taking one step. And Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King said that faith is taking the first step even when you don't see the whole staircase. So we're talking about faith today, my friends. Faith in the power of the love of God that is within us. Faith that sees us through anything that seems to be a trial or a tribulation or turmoil or chaos. There is no chaos. There is only love. You see, the love that I know about here is the over 300 services and special Sunday services and special services that I had conducted in this 6 years. Faith, you see, my friends, is the close to 80 new members that have come into this spiritual community since I've been here. Now, some of them have gone wherever they've gone, but faith nonetheless got us to this. Faith is when I've held the hand and put my hand on the face of a loved one and their families as they had a time of transition, like what happened with Frankie B., like what happened with Chris Hart, like what happened with countless other people that we have seen in the times of having a legacy of love. Many people who have had surgeries where they had new knees and new hips and a back, a new part of a back, or some kind of surgery, various organs, or the over 30 classes that I've shared with you. But more importantly, the legacy of love that we have here comes in the form of hugs, comes in the form of handshakes, comes in the form of kisses on cheeks and sometimes lips. Yes, we have done that in this church. It's come in the form of me making handmade, homemade dinner rolls. I didn't know I had that in common with your grandmothers. That I poured my love into the kneading of the dough and the watching it rise and allowing it to be kneaded and birthed into this beautiful thing that had butter slathered on it with honey and people were waiting at the stove for it to come out. Yeah, there were lines at times. You know what I'm talking about. The love that went into the 7-Up cakes and the greens and the macaroni and cheese with 7 or 8 types of cheese that my wife has cooked countless times, or the beans that I made without any meat in it so that people who were vegans could have some protein. You see, love is huge. What about 11 chicken barbecues? 11 chicken barbecues. Being here from morning until afternoon when the last person leaves, or until they kick me out. You see, I heard that was rarity in a minister here, but I felt like it was mine to do, to be here at those times, even if I didn't have to. How do we show love? How do we show a legacy of love? We show it one step at a time, one hug at a time, one handshake. We show it by being with someone, just by giving a smile. You see, that is what we're talking about, taking out into the world that. And Alexander Love said that on this journey, our hearts leave behind these silken threads of meaning that weave together to form our stories of love, creativity, and possibility. We have weaved this in this spiritual community in this 6 years that I've been here. And I am grateful and I am humbled by this awareness. Dr. Maya Angelou said something quite profound. She says, I've learned that people will forget what you said. People will forget what you did. But people will never forget how you made them feel. I'll never forget how you made me feel, how you welcomed me and my wife and my grandchild and my other family members when they've come. I'll never forget how it was when we had that, in 2013, when I got married to the church, that thing, the installation and how that was. I had a brain fart, okay? And how it was when some of us took a bus to the Harriet Tubman Memorial, and what it was like for all of us, those who had been there and those who didn't. And how it was when I decided I needed to get married for the first time at 53. Yeah, it seems so long ago. And the love that this spiritual community poured out. And then my mother-in-law decided to transition the week before. And then even more love poured out. I mean, come on now, how could you get married, have a rehearsal in the morning and a memorial in the afternoon, and then a spiritual thing with your church at night, and then get married the next day? And people from the church showed up. And the way it was when the celebration team, I know Sally had to go, but the celebration team, and they sung that, what was that song? Stop in the Name of Love. Yeah, and Leland, oh my goodness. If anybody remembers that, or if you didn't, ask me. I have a DVD, you can watch him. But the legacy of love is what we're talking about. How we get to love ourselves so that we get to then feel that love within all of us. That's what love is about. So as I leave today for my final time here, I trust that we have developed that legacy of love. And that love has no ending. It has no boundaries. It has only what's possible in the future. And I'd like to leave you with this affirmation for today. I am loving myself while expressing my love to you. Will you say that with me, please, together? I am loving myself while expressing my love to you. Again, I am loving myself while expressing my love to you. And so it is. And so we let it be us. Amen. Namaste. Oh, okay. So I was finna forget something. Okay, I got it. Now it's time for our tithes, love offerings, and gifts. Yes, we must do this part. Yeah. Got to get, yep. And we have our, we passed it? Oh, there we go. Our January prosperity affirmation. And let's say this together, please. Through the Christ presence, we claim the life abundant. Again, through the Christ presence, we claim the life abundant. And as we prepare our gifts, we know and understand that when we give, we're giving what we have already received. That the love that we share is apparent in the gifts that we also give to each other. And so we have our love offering blessing, and let's say it because our heart is wide open and is ready to receive even more. Let's say it together, please. Divine love as me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. Thank you, God. You are my source.
Be the love you are. Be the love you are. Just as Master Jesus taught us. Be the love you are. Everyone together. Be the love you are. Be the love you are. Just as Master Jesus taught us, be the love you are.
Well, I know you want to know, right? What does Gandhi have to say? In a gentle way, we can shake the world. We can shake the world with love. We get to do that now. And so, we take this moment to, yes, I know they're rubbing their hands out there in Love Streaming Land. You can do it too, because it's infinite, and it's endless, and it's everywhere present as we pray over this money substance. God the good omniscience. We're so grateful for this day. Grateful for all who have experienced love today. To know that love has no bounds, no boundaries. That it is infinite and everywhere present, for God is love. We're giving thanks for the gift. We're giving thanks for the giver, knowing and affirming that it comes back tenfold. For we are the gift, and we're grateful for how it shows up today. And so it is. Amen. Okay. right. So, what are we doing to pray for protection? Oh, we got the, yes, we're going to bless our children wherever they are, but children of the world. And all of our families' children, and our own children, and our own grandchildren, and so on, and the children that are here. Let's say our children's blessing and affirmation together. We bless our children wherever they are, and we see them surrounded by love and light throughout the week. We have a thriving, expanded youth and family ministry. Yes, we do. And our prayer for protection together. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. And the presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. Richest blessings, my friends.
And before we do the peace song, first off, Reverend, we have a gift for you.
I want to go up here and give it to you. Come on up. But I want you to open it.
Okay.
So this is a gift from the congregation, and Reverend Edith will open it, and then I will explain the symbolism behind the gift. And though it is a small gift, as Mother Teresa said, there are no small acts, or there are no great acts, but only small acts given with great love. So
No, I
this
don't
is
have
given
nails.
with great love.
I don't have nails. I got it, I think. This electrician thing can't stand nails. Just like to look at them. Do you have your nails done? Let me see.
No.
Oh, okay. Oh, a rock. Oh, ooh. Ooh. Oh.
Let's put it here.
Oh, it's got, oh. Oh. Does that, oh, it's got a heart in it.
So it will have a base underneath it, which, given the amount of time, it wasn't finished yet. It's a marble base, and it will say on one side, the gem of the heart is love, and on the other side, it says, Reverend Edith, with heartfelt gratitude for loving service, Unity of Syracuse, 2013 to 2019. So, the quartz crystal cluster are Himalayan quartz. These crystals hold sacred frequencies and the wisdom of ancient cultures. Clear quartz encourages clarity of thought and purpose to one's heart and mind. Himalayan quartz works on all levels of the energetic and physical bodies and resonates with all the chakras and is used for healing and purification of chakras. Himalayan quartz helps to establish a strong, clear connection to higher guidance, and their extraordinary vibration stimulates the third eye chakra to enhance meditation. This crystal cluster was chosen especially for you. It looks like a hand. Would you put out your right hand and cup it? Right hand, yes. Cup the hand.
Oh.
Okay, it looks like a hand, the way that the crystals are formed. It looks like a hand with a palm turned upward. Everybody just turn your palm upward. The hand is in this position. The hand in this position represents both giving and receiving. This symbolizes and honors the giving and receiving nature of your ministry here. In the center of the crystal, there is a small rose quartz heart. The meaning of rose quartz is one of unconditional love, and it is associated with the heart chakra. It facilitates love in your life through its ability to bring your consciousness to a higher level. This small heart of rose quartz at the center of this hand-like quartz crystal cluster represents the heart of your ministry, which is love.
Thank you.
We're now going to do an angel walk. So we're going to have Reverend pass from the front to the back, and then we'll finish with the peace song. So those of you who don't know quite what an angel walk is, we're just going to form here at the side. We will raise our hands and have her walk gently through. And as she passes, you give her your love. So come to the center, and we will give you our love as you have given to us.
Okay, thank you.
We love you.
We
bless you. And we truly, truly appreciate you. And we behold the Christ in you. We love you. We bless you. And we truly, truly appreciate you. And we behold the Christ in you. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant